This is the most effective approach I've ever seen to stop divorce and save a marriage on the brink.
She came up to me and said, I want to reconcile. I want to fix things. I want to move forward with just you. I want to be exclusive with you. I don't want any of that anymore. I want you back.
It lowers conflict, it rebuilds trust, and rekindles attraction, even if it's been an emotional affair.
We made the decision that, okay, I'm going to move back into the same bedroom as you now.
It also calms all those nerves and anxiety, overthinking, and stopping you from walking on eggshells using what we call the reset framework. Now, I spent a decade of coaching hundreds of men through this. So I can tell you, when you practice these principles every single day, pretty much on autopilot, it stops her in her tracks, okay? And it makes her curious instead about the man that you're becoming. And the fourth part of this framework has a magnetic pull in itself that she cannot resist.
And that kind of started bringing her back towards me.
In a recent interview, a client of mine, Michael, he really shared how his wife gutted him with those words. I love you, but I'm not in love with you.
And she's like, and I think I'd be happier with somebody else. Like, I always love you, but I'm not in love with you. She didn't want to talk. She just said, stay out of my life. I'll stay out of yours.
Now that moment pushed him to really seek answers, which led him to us. He discovered how careless he'd been over the years, whether it was pulling away during arguments, shutting down, ignoring her needs, brushing things off, dismissing her. I can go on and on.
When I got the preliminary call and they told me, this is what you've probably been doing wrong, they're like, death by 1,000 cuts. And I was like, oh, it feels like death by 1,000 slashes in my case, just
Sure.
it was terrible. I didn't realize how bad I was.
Now look, the clock, much like yourself probably, was already taken to a divorce. But Michael worked with the only leverage that he could find.
Initially, she's like, I want you to move out into a completely different place. And I kind of financially talked her out of it in the sense of, well, we do have a basement room. I'll just take that room. You stay upstairs and we'll minimize contact. This was like probably stage one, right? She didn't want to talk. She just said, stay out of my life. I'll stay out of yours.
Now, this is why this reset framework is so powerful, because it builds on principles that you apply to yourself, by yourself. Now, this first part that I'm going to share with you, it makes her soften, open up, and look at you with those fresh eyes.
She goes, man, where were you all these years?
Have a quick listen.
And she's constantly storming because she has work stuff and girlfriend stuff. And I can just sit there and take it. And I'll say, do you want solutions? Do you want me to listen? Do you need a hug? Do you need space? And almost always she'll say, just sit here. Okay, I can do that. And yesterday she was like, I need solutions. I was like, oh, I can do that. I did that for decades.
The first thing you must do is to learn how to regulate your nervous system. This means becoming calm, grounded, and unreactive, especially when she's the one that's stressed out, right? So when she comes home and unloads on you, vents about other things, maybe throw jabs your way as well, you don't snap back. You don't rush to fix her to make her feel okay. You sit up straight, you calm yourself down. You look at her deep in the eyes and you convey, even say, I hear you. This makes her feel safe, makes her feel protected by you, truly respected as well. And therefore, by the law of reciprocity, she respects you and is so much more attracted to you because just by the way you embody yourself in those moments. Think of a crowded room, right? And someone yells fire. People start rushing, pushing, bumping into each other. But if one calm leader stands up and says, this way, follow me. Everyone calm down, let's go. And they lead with that steady presence. That's what really guides people towards the right direction. In our nervous system, they work the same way, right? So when you stay calm and grounded, she instinctively begins to settle in too. It's not easy to do, of course not, but once you learn how to do that and you train your nervous system, your wife will look at you like you are a new man because you are.
Now we're sharing the same bedroom. She's constantly talking to me now. I can be calm, grounded, and she likes that. She goes, man, where were you all these years? Like, you're just calm, you're grounded. Well, she didn't say grounded, but I can enjoy your presence now. I'm downstairs in the basement with my oldest. He was kind of talking to me because he was kind of seeing some of the changes I was doing. He's like, whatever you're doing, Mom seems a lot nicer now.
And once you can stay calm under pressure, the next step, it goes even deeper than that. It clears the lies in your head that you've been holding back. And then it makes her start to trust you again. Listen to this conversation.
I think it was breaking my old core beliefs.
Ooh, expand on that.
Well, I think I had some initial core beliefs, like if I don't have the perfect marriage, or if I'm a divorced man, I'm a broken person, I'll never be whole again. My family will always be fractured and I can never get back to being perfect. There's a stigma associated with it. So there was those, letting go of those, like breaking the habit of being yourself. I did a lot of those meditation to try and get myself out of that.
I love that.
Those core beliefs, and that I wasn't good enough the way I was.
Man,
a lot of your modules are like, hey, you're perfectly imperfect. It's okay to be imperfect.
The principle is to examine core beliefs and establish your values. This means spotting false stories that you've carried for years. Stories like I'm broken if we divorce, or I need to be perfect, or I'm not good enough the way I am. You call out those lies for what they are, and then you drop them. Then you lock in your new values that lead you to become the man that gets her back. It is simple, but it's not easy, okay? The process is clear, but you still have to do the work. So for example, if you resonate with the belief, it's hopeless if she's no longer in love, what value could you adopt within yourself to combat that? You can adopt faith, right? Faith that you're meant to be together. Grit to go through obstacles, and optimism to always see the positive side, to see the wins. And if you start to say to yourself over and over again, I am an optimistic, gritty, faithful man, in those moments when you normally would give up, right? You instead rise above the fear. You hold your frame and you create stability within yourself. And that's what draws her back in.
My first call with Coach Chris said, don't give up hope. And one of my values I learned later is persistence. That's probably one of my favorite modules, was figuring all of that out. But I created, this is my backdrop, has all of them.
Growth, conviction, charity. Ooh, charity. I've never seen someone use charity before.
This matters because beliefs push your behavior. Values keep you steady. Now, let me give you a picture that makes, honestly, it makes this so easy to remember.
Do you remember the diamond analogy that I use? Does that sound familiar? The idea here is that we come into this world as perfect beings, like under God's eyes, right? And we are sinners, but like that sin is more, it's not that we're like imperfect, it's that we have dirt thrown onto us, right? And those negative beliefs are like, I'm not good enough, or like, you have shame around past things that have happened that you kind of mentioned to, you alluded
People
to.
pleasing.
Struggle. Like I had a lot of things I was shameful of in my life that I was holding on to. And it's just healing yourself, forgiving yourself is about removing the dirt away. It's not like you have to add things to your life to become better, because a lot of people who don't understand this concept, they're the ones that chase more money, chase other women, or do these things that externally try to make themselves feel good enough. But at the end of the day, it's that wound that's there that's never going to feel healed. Right. And so, yeah, I just wanted to reinforce that, because that's such a brilliant concept.
With your inner map reset, she won't trust a word. She'll trust your patterns, okay? She looks for patterns. We're pattern recognition machines as human beings, not just women, right? But you need to learn the one thing that puts those patterns right in front of her so she can see them. And that's what this next talking point is about. Go ahead and check it out.
I think she just saw me being consistent over time.
Yep.
That was the main thing. Just like an alcoholic, 20 days off. It's like, I kind of don't trust you. But then 2 years, well, okay, I can start trusting you now. So now it's been a few months. And for the most part, yeah, I haven't done the past behaviors, and I don't want to. That's why I continue to go to the men's program. I do not want to revert.
The crucial lesson here is to show consistent change. Now, think of it like, building muscle, right? Not the biggest arms, but, they're not bad. Like one workout, it won't make you jacked, right? But steady reps week after week with slow improvements, that's when the growth starts to show, right? It's the same thing with trust, okay? You slowly rebuild it one promise at a time. Your word is not enough. Each workout is a conversation where you hold your own strength of integrity. You see what I mean? The proof only comes with time. And when you rush things, that's when you get injured emotionally, when you injure the relationship. You see what I mean? So what is your trust workout plan? What did you actually do today to increase that trust? Even if it's a promise to yourself. Did you follow through on your word? Did you stay grounded instead of blowing up? Those are the reps to take. Forget about the outcome. Put your energy into the process.
And I've noticed, not just with this process of working with hundreds of guys to save their marriage, but even in, like, for me personally, I don't know about you, but business and fitness and all these other goals, it always takes like a little bit longer than I've always expected, And so, yeah, enjoying that, going back to the process versus the outcome. If you really focus on the process and not the outcome, you're not going to rush, right? You're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So,
And that was the same with the homework. I feel like, so I get so many men in those calls where they just rush the program. I'm like, you're not doing it, because the real work is in the homework. And sometimes I did it 2 or 3 times.
yeah, it's like building a house, right? That's why I use the house metaphor. It's if you rush to build a house, you're going to make mistakes. The foundation's going to be cracking, and things are going to fall apart, right? So you're rebuilding yourself. What is more important than rebuilding yourself as a man? I mean, you can't rush that process at all.
She'll notice your consistency faster when your life is bigger than the relationship, which is all about what this next principle is going to go into. Now, this, more than anything, Chris, that irresistible pull in your direction.
And that kind of started bringing her back towards me.
I want you to listen to Michael describe it.
I was doing my own hobbies. I was doing things I had never been able to do, or at least I thought I'd never been able to. So I started jujitsu. I started reading mass books from your library. Because another one of my values is growth, and I realized I wasn't honoring that in myself. I wasn't growing. So, and I would start going to the gym, hanging out with men. And before I'd kind of, because no one in this nice guy says, do men, hang out with men. I'd kind of done little men's nights here and there, but it was hard because everybody has kids and things like that. So I just said, you know what? When I go to the gym or I go to jujitsu or when I go to wherever, I'm just going to hang out with men and I'm going to make friends with them.
If you want to draw your wife back in, you need to expand on purpose and clarity. Think back. What were the things that first drew her to you? Okay. You had that drive, right? That spark, the way you led with confidence. She wasn't everything to you in the beginning. Or at least she shouldn't have been. And how did you feel about yourself? How did you feel about her? How did you feel about the relationship? Do you even remember what it was like in those early days? I guarantee you were more in your magnetic prime. Were you not? It was your purpose that made you magnetic. She didn't come first. You did your service to something greater than you, whether you realize it or not. That's the state you were in, and that's why she was attracted to you. Now that creates polarity. But what does polarity mean? When I say polarity, I mean the natural pull between the masculine and feminine, okay? You stand strong in your direction, and she relaxes and responds. It is something she can't even help. And the icing on the cake for Michael was the unexpected spark of jealousy from his wife when she saw him leading and laughing in a group of people.
So she started seeing that. And that kind of started bringing her back towards me. And then finally she said, okay, I'm ready to be around you more. I want to engage more. And what really kind of, I think, pushed her over the edge is she saw me in a group, men and women, everybody just kind of talking to me. I was like, oh, I'm getting a lot of big group. It must be that magnetism of the apex. And I'm not saying I'm 100% there, but she saw it. And she said she felt jealous of the women talking to me. Even though I wasn't flirting with them, they were just there.
But they were giving you attention.
Yeah, they were giving me attention. She didn't like that.
I mean, that's a perfect example. You don't have to actually go date other women, right? Once you learn how to master this one trait, this skill, she will come back. Now, the best opportunity, the next step for you, the best thing you can do right now in this present moment is to set up a free call with our strategy or our marriage evaluators, okay? On that call, we're going to give you a free strategy call analyzing what blind spots in the marriage you have and how to correct them. But you're only going to get a call if you're fully invested into really saving your marriage. So if you're fully invested and ready to take the next step, set up a call down below. Now, the final piece is one that most guys really fight against, but it brings you freedom and makes you steady no matter what she does. Check out our conversation.
That's the next lesson I want to talk about, because as you know, that's probably the most advanced concept that a lot of new guys don't understand. And so I'm always trying to break down and see, how did you get there? How did you truly learn to let go? Was there a visualization exercise? Was there something that you did or thought that allowed you to be like, I will be okay despite what happens?
I think it was once I did my values and boundaries and I realized like I just need to live the best version of me and focus on me. Because if I keep focusing on her, I'm just going to go back to that fawning thing. And I don't want that. I hated myself. It wasn't enjoyable. It was miserable. And even now, as we're reconciling and she wants me around more, I'm like, I can kind of feel the old me trying to come out. And I'm like, nope, no, I cannot go back to that. That was awful. And so when it happens, I'm like, I'm going to go do one of my values. I'm going to go practice growth. I'm going to go practice persistence. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go attend group calls. I try to do as many of those as I can, probably 2 to 3 a day on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
You have to tap into this. We call it letting go, but also just release. Okay. Now the question here is, what are you actually letting go of? It's not letting go of her. Of course you have to want her. It's letting go of the need for a timeline or for her to respond a certain way. Every man we've seen that turned his marriage around, they all had this in common. They stopped clinging to the results. They stopped trying to control or change her. They stopped imagining her potential of what she could become. Okay. They stopped counting the days. They stopped watching her every move and checking if it's working. They stopped checking her social media. Okay. It's a huge one. You see, their energy moved away from getting her back and towards themselves and men they had to become in order to attract her back. You see the difference there? It is everything. They show patience. They keep building themselves to go on no matter what happens. You see, when you stop needing her and you act a certain way, the pressure drops away. She feels that lack of pressure and she feels safe again. And that's when she can breathe. And that's when the trust and attraction, there's that room for it to grow and flourish. Now, research shows that letting go of things you can't control brings benefits, massive benefits. It helps reduce stress. Okay. It frees up mental energy, which is a real thing. It brings more peace into your life. This idea of letting go is the ultimate thing that you can master. It's really the hardest because it's so conceptual. And this is why when you're in the program with other guys and coaches who've taught this lesson so many times, learned it for themselves, that's what helps them able to master it quicker. I already told you how you could do that. But if you want to watch another video on letting go to really expand on this concept, go ahead and click the video right here. Again, you can set up a call with our team down below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.